Seatbelt on, please. Miss Serafina.
I was wearing it, thank you very much. Ow. But it started trying to assassinate me bazoolies with all the stealthiness of a blunt butter knife.
Your what?
My national treasures, Jenna. Me heirloom Grecian assets. Me buoyant burdens.
Seatbelts don't have vendettas.
Oh, really, Professor? Because this one's declared war on me cleavage. It rubs. It pinches. I got a blister, Kwame, on me soul.
We don't have band-aids for that, so that sounds unlikely.
It's not unlikely, actually, me Kwame. It's systemic.
Your hair is systemic.
Affirmative, Serafina. According to longitudinal vehicle safety data, modern restraint systems have been calibrated using a 50th percentile male body standard as the default human model. And as a result, female occupants are more likely to experience seatbelt routing across the neck and breast tissue, increased rates of chest and soft tissue injury, reduced alignment with standard restraint positioning. This produces lower protective accuracy for female bodies in equivalent crash conditions, and results in higher percentages of women being injured or dying in a car accident compared to male occupants.
Wait, that's real?
Yes, Kwame, I told you. I wasn't just being dramatic. Yeah, nah, me boobs are not a design flaw.
No, that's a design flaw with confidence.
So the safety system is more of a suggestion then?
Thank you. Finally, some recognition for me bazoinka dramas. Been personally victimised by infrastructure.
Wait up, have they fixed this yet or what? Well, if I end up getting preggers down the track, I don't want to have to give up driving just because my boobs have developed their own climate zone.
Recognized. Scanning external investigative archives. Matching pattern to recorded analysis.
Ooh, what's it doing? Are we picking something juicy up, Eve?
Signal acquired. Please stand by for broadcast.
Oh my God, it's like true crime but for me bra line.
Why does every trip have to end with trauma for my mind's eye?
Playing broadcast now.
Here, in the dense and largely unquestioned undergrowth of institutional design, we encounter a creature of remarkable consistency. There's a term for this particular specimen, and the practice of designing entire systems around one type of body and then confidently treating it as the center of the universe, which is quite ambitious, and by ambitious we mean historically very on-brand. In medicine, in engineering, in policy, he is referred to as the reference standard, or more honestly, the reference man. He is not a person, he is a benchmark, which is already a bit of a red flag, because the moment you turn a guy into a spreadsheet cell, things tend to spiral. Historically, repeatedly, impressively. He began life as a single data point, just one, harmless, modest, probably wearing sensible shoes, and then, like all great ideas that should have stayed small, he was promoted from reference point to standard to default to definition, which is quite a career trajectory for someone who, again, does not actually exist. And once you are the definition, everything outside you stops being a variation and starts being interpreted as a deviation or a confounding variable from the accepted norm. What is remarkable is not the reference man himself. What is remarkable is the ecosystem he has produced. Notice how each structure in the environment orients toward this single specimen: the vehicle restraint system, the medication dosage, the surgical instrument, the office temperature, the diagnostic criteria, all designed to serve, protect, and optimize for this one point of reference. The others must simply adapt.
Yeah, nah, see? How fucked is that? What a crock of shit.
Shh, this shit sounds messed up. I want to hear this.
That's right, Pedals. And once you're the default, everything else stops being a variation and starts being an anomaly. The reference man is indeed a real, and to this day, called upon point of reference as a formal, internationally recognised, officially named regulatory standard. Reference man is basically a theoretical average bloke, a model human scientists use as the baseline for what's considered normal. They use him to calculate things like radiation safety, exposure limits, and how the human body should respond. And the answer is apparently, well, this guy seems okay. He's a youngish bloke, 20 to 30 years old, weighs 70 kilograms, and he is, by design, male. That sounds like a very specific person to build an entire civilisation around. It's been done a few hundred times, hey God.
Georgie's already driving the bus straight to hell, and I'm right there as co-driver. Sadly, this is not satire or a feminist talking point.
Correct, Orbs. This is an official document from a body called the International Commission on Radiological Protection. A bunch of eggheads who all sat down in 1974 and looked at the full, glorious complexity of human biological existence. And went, yeah, that one. The one without the hormones. The one who doesn't have a cycle. Yeah, that one, mate, over there. The one who will never, not once in his entire life, experience any of what we are talking about. Yeah, mate, he is the standard human. Design everything around him. Dose the medication for him and calibrate the diagnosis thresholds for him. Build the curriculum around him.
Test the car safety around him.
Don't get me started. Actually, I'm already started. Yeah, alrighty. More shiny data and historical context coming up. Because we know we don't get to this shit fuckery by accident.
And reminder, for those listening in the Vines, all of our sources are verified, cross-checked and or cited from peer-reviewed articles.
That's right, Petals. Round here we don't cite feelings, we cite evidence. And the evidence is not so obvious to those without a need to see it.
Yeah, bro, this new flavor is way better. The last one tasted like ass jam. Whoa! Whoa! Nipple check! Dude, mine too! Self-exam time. Yeah, bro. Nip still got the tips, bro. Lucky.
Yeah, mate. If only women were afforded the luxury of nipple-free injuries whilst drinking their iced mocha grandes on the run.
Georgie, all right, hit us if you will, with some shiny data, Eve for some delicious context. Onegaishimasu.
よこそ特別捜査官オブリ起動し件数を開始します。Scanning the archives and Veilguard data vaults, a woman wearing a seatbelt is 73% more likely to be seriously injured in a frontal collision than a man.
And 50 years of that data, a woman is also 17 to 20% more likely to die in a car crash. Here's another fucked fact coming at you. The seatbelt was engineered to catch a man's rigid hip bones. Surprise, not surprise, her anatomy works differently. This was not considered a problem worth solving until 2022, when the world's first average female crash test dummy was created by Astrid Linde at the Swedish National Road and Transport Research Institute. Side note, the car was invented in 1886. And when they needed a proxy for her, they took the him dummy, then scaled it down to the size of a 12-year-old girl and went, yep, that'll do, mate.
And then used it as the female standard for 50 fucking years.
Insane, right? 5 decades of going, different body, different skeletal structure, different center of mass. Yeah, just shrink him a bit. Please. Science my ass.
You don't even scale a chair like that, mate. You don't look at a bar stool and go, let's just make it 12-year-old sized and call it ergonomic.
But that's exactly what they did with the data. The original female crash test proxy was not based on female biomechanical data. data. It was derived from a scaled-down male model, typically representing a smaller male, which means for decades, female injury risk patterns were not being accurately measured. They were being approximated.
Approximated? That's a cute word for not giving a shit about half the population. That's like saying, we didn't forget you, we just guessed you.
And when real-world crash data began showing higher injury and fatality rates in women, those differences were often explained through behavioural factors, driving position, seat adjustment, vehicle choice, rather than differences in how safety systems were designed and tested.
Oh yeah, that one. But women drive smaller, less safer cars. Yeah, alright mate. My bright yellow Yaris is way more dangerous than your suburban assault vehicle that needs a stepladder, 4 reversing cameras and diplomatic clearance just to park the fucking thing. Alright pedals, tune in for part 2 when it drops. Reminder pedals, we are on active duty. Out in the field here, mates.
So, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next intel drop. Fresh and hotly baked from the field, right where the action is.
Because that's how we boost the signal and expand the network. Operation Daylight expands and succeeds only with your assistance, pedals.
And that's how the dark half of the jungle gets illuminated for the millions of women left to fend for themselves in the shadows. Until then, Jungle Watchers. Aubrey out.
Bye, pedals. See you next intel drop.